Hello, this is the Awkward GM, and my mic is very far away from me right now, so let's just get that right there. How's everyone doing this fine afternoon? This evening, I take it. I just need to double check my audio is working. It is working. So today we are going to be covering the Scion creation rules for Dragon. Specifically, Scion Dragon's character creation rules. I've got my character sheet here. It's probably going to be looking a bit small, but we'll make it do for the moment. Now, oh, I grabbed the wrong character sheet. Please tell me I had downloaded that in a place I can just open. There we go. It seems like all of these character things are not interactive. I think I might have to put that into a complaint. In any case, I will set up another character sheet over here as a backup, I guess. Google Drive will probably have to do for the moment. We'll use the character sheet for reference. I am going to probably put in a complaint to try and get the interactive character sheet put in. Maybe Mr. Gone has a character sheet. Usually Mr. Gone has character sheets. It might be for Scion Demigod, Dragon, one-page interactive. There we go. Okay. Thank you for showing up for this. Let's get started. Now, if you were here for last week, Scion Dragon is essentially you are the heir to a dragon. You are the heir of a dragon, you have the bloodline of the dragon, and you effectively can eventually become a dragon as you embrace your draconic heritage. This can come into two different types. One is you are the child of a dragon. It can pass on through genetics. And the second one being if a dragon reincarnates. If a dragon reincarnates, you have all the memories of that dragon. You might not necessarily have a dragon who is helping you come to terms with those memories. You might be on your own in that regard, but if you are sort of tapped by another dragon to take on the role, that can happen, and you will have someone who's helping you get settled in. There are some ready-made characters in here. There are actually 5 of them, which is pretty awesome, and if you look through some of the character stuff, you can see that, for instance, this character right here, she is also on the section for the traits. This guy here, he's on the front cover. Actually, all of them are on the front cover except for a couple. In any case, character creation. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to have to speed through some of this. So we have the deeds. You come up with a character concept in your head. I don't really have one right at the moment. I do like the idea of like an IT person turning into a dragon, so I might go with that. So not only do you have your aspirations are called deeds. You have 1 draconic and 2 worldly, that one of which is a short term and one is a brood term. So the draconic deed is something is currently tasked to do that will emphasize your draconic side. Should take 1 or 2 sessions to complete. Once you do it, you gain a new one immediately. They usually come from the memory in the form of a memory from her handler given by the story guide, but can also work with the story guide to determine what kind of mission the character will need to work on next. We have 2 worldly deeds. These should be short-term one should be accomplished in 1 session, long-term one over multiple. The well, the brood deed is the long-term one. Uh, this deed is also worldly in nature, though it serves to reinforce the heir's draconic side. Players should discuss their first brood deed with the story guide to ensure everyone is on the same page about what they want to accomplish. Much like banned term deeds, the brood deeds should be an expression of great acts the group want to accomplish. So this is what bands your group together. And honestly, that... Oh, you gain a memory deed through the memory condition and do not start with any. That's interesting. That's something additional. Okay, so we've got the origin, the role, and your flight, which are your paths. So for us, we're just going to look at the paths that they have here. Origin path, always watched, draconic lineage, reincarnated. Let's go with the... And I'm going to have a notepad just so that I can remember all this. Let's go with the draconic lineage, because reincarnated always sounds a little bit weird to me. I'm not one for the chosen one archetype, and when you're reincarnated, you're effectively forced to behave like the person that you were previously. At least that's how I see it. In context, it's more of you're always been this way, so it's like you're not... Your personality should dictate who you were as well as who you are now. So if you were a fighter, if you were like a warrior, you might be a boxer or something like that in your new reincarnation, and still have the temperament and personality of your dragon. But dragons, from what I've read so far with this, they tend to get more of a powerful persona, sort of overwriting who they are. And if you've not heard about Dragon Scion, Scion itself is set in sort of a world, modern day world, where the mythological is real. Zeus is real, Hera is real, Anubis, Osiris, all the pantheons of the path of the ancient societies are all real and exist as sort of like if D&D if gods from Dungeons and Dragons were transposed to real life, like if the real life gods behaved more like D&D gods in a way. I like to compare it to American Gods, because that's a book I read back in the day when I read books. But in this case, you are playing as dragons who are sort of on the same level as gods, or in between gods and titans, as far as the power that gets described to them. So we've got our... I've chosen our draconic lineage path, and then I also chose spy as my role path. So I'll just go put those in here. Where are my roles? Those are callings. Paths. Okay. So we've got draconic lineage and spy. Now, the flights are something that I've always... that at the moment now that I'm looking at them, they always seem to be... They almost seem to be dictating what type of person you are, in a way. Like, you're drawn to which flight best exemplifies your kind of like draconic lineage. Not lineage, but like how you interact with the world. Let's just go with one here. Like they also have some interesting artwork here. They have artwork for each one of these. Like, these guys all look very much like they're from a more Egyptian or Southern Hemisphere, like Africa, South American type feel. Actually, not South American, more African continent. Because there are stuff in here that are like the Eastern dragon types. The Naga are the ones that are more like South Asian, maybe. Or the serpents. Here we go. Or South American. Yeah, they're on mesas in here. The Joka seemed like the ones that I was really jiving with earlier. Joka characteristics we have are disparate group of dragons originally from all over Africa. These dragons are large and often described as having 2 legs and no wings, or else 4 legs and wings. And they're hungered. They're near prehistoric time to the modern era. They're pragmatic. Okay. I think there's got to be a better rundown of the flights, right? I just want to make sure, because I don't want to give you guys bad information about them. Okay. In any case, let's just go for the moment with Joka. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's... Oh, they've got birth rates here. Guides. A legendary creature said to be Rain's own children live in strange places near rivers and caves. Some of them find their way to mid-realms and may serve as Reyna's lair guard. Okay. Pawns. Joka keep hirelings who maintain their lairs, keeping them all stocked and provisioned. The concierges provide for daily needs of the hungry dragon, going out to hunt down rare cuisine or fight alongside their heir. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a interesting system they've got. Satisfaction of restoring justice, cleansing a land of its taint, protecting something or someone from those who wish them harm, keeping a difficult secret. This I like. They're guardians, healers, and watchers, so they have like this at least helpful bent to them. I would be very upset if they weren't helpful. Like, I'd hate to be one that is all about killing people. Oh yeah, they're bright colors. The bright colors of some of these guys here can be pretty cool. I think it's like every one of these dragon artworks is somehow like they've got usually a blue, a red, and I think a yellow. Because at least these guys up here, these first couple, yeah, these guys are like, look exactly like what I'd imagine a Tiamat type dragon. I don't understand why there is always a dead one in the background or one that's asleep. It just seems very not powerful. But that's probably just the nature of this game. So we have Joka as our path here. I am writing down what I get for these. So for the path skills that we have, we get to choose 3 different path skills from our paths. So we can get athletics, culture, occult, or persuasion from our draconic lineage. I think I'm going to choose occult on that. I'm just going to put down here, this is from our origin. And then persuasion is always good. I always like to have some sort of social character. I'll try and look at the... I'd like to thank you all for joining, and I also like to thank Salon Senilian, who had joined earlier and asked and said that they like the bright colors and the snakes from the book. Okay, so persuasion, occult, and I could have athletics or culture. I'm gonna go with athletics. I almost never take athletics, but it's always good to have. And then I've decided to take spy as my sort of like my role path. There isn't anyone who you trust you haven't first found out everything there is to know about them. So maybe you work for a government agency or someone more private. Maybe you work for yourself as you uncover deep conspiracies in the world. Ooh, I like that. So I can take firearms, integrity, or technology, or N technology. I'm not doubling up, so I'm just gonna firearms, technology, and integrity. Now, if you guys were at the or if all of you were at the con the other week, they talked about Storypath Ultra, and that has a really interesting thing where I think someone converted Scion to Storypath Ultra for the con, and that allowed for a lot of interesting things. Okay, and when we have our lineage doesn't have skills. That can't be right. Our flight doesn't have skills. That can't be right. I might have jumped the gun on that. Maybe it's not. Oh, okay. Path skills are integrity and survival. The flight path. Why is it just integrity and survival? You should get more. Going back to character creation, look at this. Gain 3 skills from your path. Which 3 skills are up to you, but you should be prepared to justify non-obvious choices. 2 of the skills you choose from your character's flight paths must be from your flight's associated skills. If the character is a legendary creature, then 2 of the skills chosen from her role path must belong to the creature's path assets. Any given skill can be associated with at most 2 of your paths. Okay. So it looks like I get to pick a third one. A third one with the Joka path. So if I go back down here, so survival integrity. So I already have integrity, so it's going to be covered by this. So I'll have integrity is also going to be my flight, and what was the other one? Integrity and survival. Okay, so these 2 I have to take. And then I get a third one, and for that, I will choose subterfuge. Always like a good subterfuge. It's surprising to me that the spy path did not have subterfuge. Thank you all for joining us today. It is a lovely day. I love to see 6 people on stream. Always makes my day. So for going back to character creation, we've got our skills here. We are going to... You receive 3 dots in each skill associated with your primary path. 2 dots, secondary path, 1 dot, tertiary path. These dots are cumulative for skills associated with paths. Wait a minute. Okay, this is interesting. I'm thinking story path system. So I actually don't get an extra flight. So I just have integrity and subterfuge. So I get 2 for my primary, or 3 for my primary, 2 for my secondary path. Oh, in each of them. Okay, so this is why this is such a big one. So I think my primary path is definitely going to be my roll path. So I'll take 3 in that. And roll. And I'll take 2 in my origin path. And I take 1 in my flight. This is very interesting. This is going to be very interesting. Okay, so I'm so used to Trinity Continuum that I mixed up the skills here, but don't let that bother you. So we do still do the 6 dots in the primary, 4 dots in the secondary, and 2 dots in the tertiary. And then we get to choose an approach and add 2 dots to each attribute in that approach. Man. Okay, and we can only go up to 5. So I want this character to be secondary physical, so that means 4 dots. So I'm going to take 2 in might, 1 here in stamina, and then I'm going to take another... Now, do I go intelligence or do I go social? I have more, I think, in my intelligence skills than my social ones, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to increase those. So... And forgive me if I go jumping around. I'll try and keep this as by the book as possible, though I do tend to get distracted easily on some of this stuff. So that goes up to 6. This, I'm going to go mental as my primary, so that's going to be 6 dots. I'll go fairly even in that, and I'll go fairly even here. I'll just update composure and presence. I don't have any manipulation because I don't have any subterfuge, so I feel like I might get screwed on that. But I do take my favorite approach, which I'm going to choose as power. So I'm going to have intellect and might at 5 and presence. Oh, no. I just realized I took firearms as a skill. And that goes by dexterity, I think. I'm gonna take the 2 dots I put in here, or at least 1 dot here, and put it into dexterity, just so that I'm not screwing myself over later. I just reallocated one of my skill points from the arena. For every skill that ends up with 3 or more dots, you choose a specialty. Okay, so I do choose a specialty for firearms, technology, and integrity. These specialties are going to be for integrity. I don't know. Mental fortitude, and then firearms. Let's go with pistols. Pistols are always good. And for technology, we will go with smartphones. Okay. We've got our 3... We did that one already. Knacks. Callings and knacks. Select 3 callings. These callings can be anything, but generally loosely associated with the character's past. For example, if a character is a ballet dancer, then she has may have the nomad calling, but could also just as easily have the mystic calling. At least one of the callings should be shared with your character's draconic ancestor. If you don't know who your character's draconic ancestor is, that's fine, but one of the callings will have to be shared when it comes time to define the dragon. 5 dots to split between the callings, with each calling having a single dot. For each dot she has in a calling, she gains a calling knack. You can only have a number of calling knacks active equal to your calling dots in total. This includes calling knacks gained from birthright. Okay. So I accidentally did choose my calling already. I went down here and I grabbed Reyna, the keeper of the source. She was born of the rivers and the water. She flowed as the river does and existed as all rivers at all times. When they rewrote the story of Amut and Apophis, Reyna lost her connection to time and was rooted in the world. Reyna's heirs feel drawn to nature and feel a deep-seated need to protect it. From wildlife rangers, activists, climate change scientists, to full-blown eco-terrorists, heirs of this dragon move to protect the natural world from predation of humanity and try to heal the harms done to it, along with the hungers that ranging from plastics and pollutants to those who merely hunt merely for sport. Did you want to play a eco-terrorist? Well, Scion Dragon has that for you. Now, we do have the calling of Guardian here, which is the one that I really wanted, so I'm going to put that in here. What other callings are there? If we go... Okay, so... Is it in traits? Yeah, traits. So we have the callings listed here. There's Collector, Destroyer, Healer, Guardian. Guardian is the one that we already picked. I'm just going to take a little screenshot of that so that I can refer to it later for myself. I am just going with this because I like the character concept. I am not optimizing my character at all in this regard. Though it should probably be mentioned that having these is probably going to affect what type of skills I'm going to be taking. So for instance, Guardian has the skills of athletics, empathy, and integrity, which means that I believe some of their abilities that they can use are specifically going to be tied to that, or there probably some knacks or something later on that might be linked to those skills. Not sure. Maybe if I look up here, there'll be something about this. Systems. All heirs and dragons have a calling. They're associated with the type of memory. Where are they associated with skills? Okay, calling knacks are probably associated with skills. For the purposes of deed name path asset skills. A deed name is an expression of the heir's deeds through keywords associated with your calling. Okay. A character retains any deed names belonging to callings she no longer possesses, but can acquire new deed names using its keyword. So it seems like you gain a new dot of inheritance. You choose a deed name. I'm not seeing where it can be used with skills. She can invoke this path just like any other path and use the calling's listed skill as the path's asset skill. Path's asset skill. I'm gonna have to come back to that. I'm not sure what asset skill. Chandra Magic, thank you for coming back to the chat. Yes, I am not optimizing, and how dare I? I might try to optimize a little bit, but honestly, I just like going through these things blind. Like right now, I'm thinking I'm building an eco-terrorist character. And I was originally just going to go with a hacker, but when I looked at the callings, when I looked at the my draconic ancestry, or lineage, it was specifically associated with eco-terrorism, apparently. Okay, so we've got Guardian. That's probably going to be the one that I have 2 dots in. I'll take Judge, because I always like being an arbiter of justice in some way. And then lastly, let's do something that's a little bit more fighty. Destroyer is fighty. Yeah, let's do Destroyer. You can't be a judge without being an executioner. I mean, hackers can be Chandra Magic. I mean, hackers can be eco-terrorists. They're just use hacking to do their terrorist thing. That is fair. I mean, I do have technology, and I did choose smartphones, but we'll see how the character comes out. So I've chosen these callings. So we've got Guardian, Judge, a Destroyer. Oh, you guys can't see it. Let's see if I can fix this a bit so that you guys can actually see what I see. Do you see the character sheet like me? Do you see the character sheet like me? Okay, PDF. probably that's gonna be too small for you, you beeps. But how can I fix this? I can fix it by basically shrinking this. Yep. That'll have to do for the moment. So this is going to be a little bit small for me, but hopefully it's a little bit better for you all. Ah, man, it's losing a lot of quality on that, but any case, I'm taking 3 dots in Guardian. I'm taking 1 dot in the others. So this means I get knacks for calling knacks for each of these. So if I go over here, calling knacks. Destroyer. I could have a terrible roar. I could have armor shearing jaws. I could be able to devour stone. Your natural, so the jaws, you have your natural tag attacks automatically gain the piercing quality and count as 1 scale greater for purposes of destroying inanimate objects. If you have the rending claws transformed, gain +1 enhancement to attacks and objects or armored targets. I'm not sure if I'll be going up against armored targets, but it's something to at least know about. So Destroyer isn't really a fighter, it's more of someone who's going to, like, destroy objects, it seems. Let's do Enhanced Impact. Whenever you successfully deal injury with your knack skill, you also knock the target back 1 range band. This does not have to do any extra damage and can put someone in a tight spot. Oh, it does not do any extra damage, but can put someone in a tight spot. That's a good one. I always like being able to move people around in the battlefield, so Enhanced Impact. And that is from my calling. Then we also have... I feel like I'm going to run out of space for callings. These... I feel like I get a lot. I get 5. Or is it 6? Double checking. Callings. 5 dots. Okay, cool. So we have Guardian. I can bestow responsibility. I can have clarity of purpose. Vigilant Protector. When you stand guard over a person, place, or thing, you do not need to eat or sleep as long as your vigil persists. Okay, I like that. I'll take Vigilant Protector. Then there's Living Pillar. When you protect someone else with your body, you are immune to environmental hazards, as long as you keep your target close. They benefit from the same immunity, but still need to eat and sleep, so it's best to leave a hazardous area as quickly as possible. Okay. So I'll take that. Vigilant Protector and Living Pillar. These are all from my Colin. Let's do some housekeeping here just for a sec. There are a few things that I need to shout out. So there is shout out to Trevor Pease for wrapping up the first season of Mummy the Curse: Oceans of Eternity. He had a great run. A couple of shows coming for next week. We have Tom Murr is running an actual play of World Below Ashcan on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's Standard Time, right? Travis Leahy is running Scion Origin one-shot on Wednesday. And hopefully they'll be returning to Scarred Lands the following session. There's going to be another crowdfunding campaign that's coming soon but hasn't been announced. It's something, keep an eye on Monday meeting notes for the next Kickstarter. Uh, I'm excited. I'm guessing it's Aegis because that seemed to be the next one that they were talking about at the con, but I don't know for sure. And then there's also going to be the OP Gaming Night on the 28th of July. And that's it. That's it for that. Apologies, just the bookkeeping stuff that I have to do. Also, thank you to Onyx Path for getting me this book PDF so that I can make this character. So I got Guardian, I've got Vigilant Protector, Living Pillar, and Warning Sense sounds like a pretty good one. That gives me double the dice for detecting ambushes. My sister's currently playing in my Werewolf the Forsaken game, and she is very much using Danger Sense every single time. As soon as they get into a room, she's like, "Oh, is there an ambush here?" And I'm like, "You're just going to a Burger King. It's not. There's no ambush at the Burger King." It's like, "Well, that's giving me information for free." I'm like, "Shut up." Anyway, let's see here. Lie detector looks cool for judge. Anyone a tier lower than you must overcome a complication to under scrutiny when lying to you. Failure or inability to buy off this complication results in a confession. Spend momentum and they simply cannot lie to you at all. Ah, man, that sounds good. Lie detector, knack. So we've got 5 callings. Let's see, what else do we get here? Finally, select 2 Draconic Knacks from either Feats of Scale Knacks or Transformation Knacks. Sorry. You gain additional 1 each time your inheritance increases. Now, these are the things that I was really interested in. Being able to transform into a dragon is a key aspect of being a dragon, obviously. So let's see. I'm kind of interested in just going to all transformation knacks, but knacks of scale, look at it. Knacks of scale are also associated with your calling. So you've got for Guardian, when you protect a person, place, or thing, and can be measured, and that can be measured with scale, you can do so as a feat of scale. This allows you to perform Guardian feats of scale. Then we have Judge. When you reshape laws or challenge the structure of society on a wide scale, you do so and it becomes a feat of scale. Now I need to look at feats of scale. Ah, damn it. Let's see. Feats of scale. Feats of scale. The children of gods come by their power easily. Dragons rely on power of their mighty nature, and their heirs find themselves capable of doing great deeds, but at a cost. Without a scale knack, an heir cannot perform feats of scale. When a character attempts an action covered by one of her calling's keywords, she may use one of her knacks of scale to increase scale by your inheritance divided by 2 rounded up for that action as a feat of scale. Okay. So basically, you become more powerful. That's really what we're looking at here. So I think getting the Guardian feat of scale is probably a good thing. Let's do that. And then lastly, we get 1 transformation power. Transformation power is going to be... We get up Bottomless Lungs, Brutal Might, Devastating Dragon Presence, Dragon's Breath, which is like If you're a dragon, you should have a dragon's breath naturally, right? Um, Elemental, your choice: lethal, messy, range, short, shockwave. Dragon Sight, Draconic Majesty. There's a lot of interesting ones here. There's some that make you more persuadable, more attractive, or some way. Like you have this enhanced way of persuading people. Let's see what else we got here. So for my character, I've got a lot in integrity, so my mental fortitude, and I've got technology and firearms. So let's see if there's anything that can hit into that. You know what this is reminding me of? This is very much reminding me of Werewolf the Forsaken, just because the concept is that you can transform into another creature. You have a massive form that you can transform into, and you're able to essentially, like, you're essentially modifying your character's stats in some way based on your transformations. It's not like a form ability. Maybe it's more like Demon Descent in that regard. Through the Cracks, Soaring Dragon. This one is you're able to fly. I like flight. Venom Spit. Your Scales. Rending Claws. Man, there's a lot of abilities you can take for this. Dragon Fangs look pretty cool. Wait a minute, what is this? You may purchase this snack a second time to gain... You permanently grow deadly fangs. Interesting. Does that mean my human form also has deadly fangs? Probably not. So with Draconic Majesty, your appealing draconic features such as beautiful horns, antlers, appears in your human form. Against lower tiered or trivial targets, you no longer need to make a succeed to roll succeeds when using your chosen area. When you spend momentum to add any dice pertaining to your chosen area of influence, you add 2 dice instead of 1. Okay. Fade away. You can hold long as you want. This is... It's always... Like, there's just so many good ones here, and I'm just trying to figure out what I want. Like, there's probably, like, a good claw thing, right? Like, having claws would probably be something I'd want. Great gripping coils, brutal might. That's just for throwing things. Power tasting bite. Once per flight, you may inflict an injury and also devour one of your target's flares. Until the end of the fight, the target no longer has access to flare, and you can use it as if it were one of your necks. Interesting. Man. Scale, Soaring Dragon, Tunneling, Seizing Jaws. Okay, I'm just gonna go with Dragon Fangs because it gives me a... Oh no, I'll go with Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath is something I said all dragons should have. You're going to be able to fire out a ray of elemental energy at short range. So, Dragon's Breath. It always seems weird to me when the numbers go up when I'm making a tough choice. It's almost as if people are like, oh man, I really want to see where he ends up on this. Twitch is such a weird platform. I'm very surprised that it is still around, but also it's reliable, I'd say. When you're owned by Amazon, you're effectively not gonna be dying anytime soon. Okay, we also begin with 3 magics that we know. One dragon magic is always from your flight's signature dragon magic, and then you can pick 2 other magics you know. One of these must be shared with your draconic ancestry. If you haven't selected the ancestry yet, you don't know it. That's okay. Characters gain a single spell for each dragon magic they know, and 1 additional spell from any of the 3 dragon magics. That one's weird. Weirdly worded. Let's look at the example here. The Serpent's Flight signature dragon magic is Purification. Then she selects Elemental Water and Flight, since serpents don't normally have wings but have the ability to fly. So those are her initial magics that she chooses. She then selects spells from each and picks Soothing Aura from Purification, Flash Flood from Water, and Aerial Mobility from Flight. And for her last additional spell, she chooses Vision of the Distant Shore from Water Manipulation. Okay. So I get 1 additional spell from any of the 3 dragon magics. Okay, so from the magics I know. Okay. So let me look at here. It looks like from my draconic lineage. Okay, from my dragon specifically, there is animal control, elemental water, and weather control. Is there another one I'm missing? Going back to the Joka. All three. Dragon magic comes from my flight's signature dragon magic. Then you get to pick 1. One of them has to be from draconic ancestor. What's my signature dragon magic from Joka? Oh, Decay Elemental. No, that's from Notable Dragons still. Or Delaire's. This is confusing me. Dragon magics. Oh, something did show up. Refinement. Okay. Just take a screenshot of that so I don't forget it. The Joka are defined by their hunger, and it's that their magic comes from that's where their magic comes from. Over time, as dragons developed a palate for anything that was sate their hunger, they learned metabolism and other things. Okay. So right now I have animal control, elemental manipulation, water, and weather control. I do like animal control and elemental manipulation, so I think I might stick with those. So we'll put that there. And then we have animal control and refinement. So if I go to the dragon magic list here, animal control, merge with beast. You can temporarily possess and control a single animal. Mental command, master of beasts, friend of beasts. I like master of beasts where you can talk to them. So I'll take that as my animal control. And then we have masters of beasts, elemental wind, water. Flash Flood, Hydraulic Override, Oceanic Majesty. You exert your will over water, controlling tides. Vision of the distant shore. If you immerse yourself in a body of water smaller than an ocean, you can see the shores or banks, regardless of how far they are from you. Okay. Water Mastery. You can shape water to your will and cause it to briefly become solid as steel. Oh, you can make weapons out of water. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna do that. Water Mastery. Excuse me. And then I have Refinement. Signature Dragon Magics. Refinement. Absorb information. You can touch an item containing information, like books or flash drives, even computers, and instantly absorb all information contained. Final Destruction. You can destroy almost anything. It doesn't matter if you are destroying a soda can or a vault door. You can destroy a single inanimate object up to your size scale, +1. You can create a hole in a wall of the same size. If you want to destroy a mystical artifact of any sort, the owner gains a Clash of Wills. Ooh. Transformation Energy. You can transform any type of energy to another one. Okay, that's pretty cool. Transmutation. You can turn a bonfire, the sound of an explosion or concert, or the light into a brick. A wooden statue or some other object. This is insane. That's kind of crazy. You can just turn light into a brick. Let's do Final Destruction and Absorb Information since I get an extra one. That's looking even more small. Okay, so we did that. We have our magic now. And now we get Birthright. You gain 7 dots to distribute among birthrights. You select an example book birthright from this book, or you design your own. Many heirs receive birthrights tied to your ancestors' flight, but can inherit benefits from across the parentage. So, if I look here... Did I have an example birthright? This is where I'm looking for birthrights. Okay, guides. And they all have different costs associated with them. So this is pretty cool. Komodo Dragon. That is one powerful asset to have. So the birthrights are what you get. So Megan decides that Lydia has inherited a moderate hoard and assigns 3 dots to hoard and a lair in which to store it at 2 dots. Finally, she decides that her dead dragon parent sent a guide to help her and selects Lost Souls Guide at 2 dots. Okay. So let's do a hoard. I'll have a hoard and a lair at 1 dot, I think. And then for a guide, I'm going to take a 5-dot one, which can't be Komodo Dragon, but it could be a talking head. Or do I have to match the calling if I use a guide? Oh, I can learn Nax from the guide's calling. So as long as the guide's calling is different than mine, I'll be fine. So the talking head calling is not listed here. Oh, okay. Let's do. This guy doesn't have a calling either. Let's do Vishaparkar. Vishaparkar, the name used by both the heir of the Vishnu and the family, skilled in researching and devoted to uncovering. So I get 3 dots in that person being my guardian, my guide rather, and I'm going to increase my horde by 1 and my lair by 1. I think that's right? The birthright is 7. 7 dots, yeah. Now finishing touches. We have additional 5 dots among our skills. These don't have to be about path skills. Well, I am definitely getting close combats because I realize I am a dragon without close combat. Let's just zoom in here so it's easier for me to click this. So close combat at 3. And let's go 4. And then 1 extra dot, which I will put into my persuasion. And then you gain an additional dot to any attribute. Let's put 1 dot into might. Now I'm optimizing, aren't I? I apologize that I'm optimizing. I'm a dirty optimizer here. A deed name at the start, it might be scrambling for something simple as heir to the lidworms, though that could also include a calling keyword. So Guardian of the Woods would be a good one. Guardian of the Elms. Let's do that. Guardian of the Elms. Remembrance. Selected from your appropriate flight. Character begins in the center of the remembrance track. I'm not seeing my remembrance track here. Oh. Joka. My character's name is going to be Helen, the eco-terrorist. Anything else here? Okay. Double checking if my remembrance is here. So I'm at the center of that track. That track isn't in here. On this character sheet, at least. If I had the bigger character sheet, I would have one. My remembrance for being in this flight is... I have to go all the way back to the Joka flight. I really appreciate everyone being here. It's always good to have people in here. So we have Indulgence as our cipher and Moderation as our direction. So I'd write those down if it were in this character sheet I downloaded from online. Character creation, any other finishing touches. Movement dice. Record your character's movement as athletics plus highest physical attribute. And that's it, really. That is how you make a character in Scion Dragon, and I made it in an hour. Get some cheers! Woo! Get some cheers in here for finishing a dragon character in an hour. I was actually very worried about doing this, because honestly, when it comes to character, when I first read about this character type, I was like, oh, this is like Aberrant for Trinity. And it is not. It seems like this is a lot less purchasing XP and stuff like that for various things. Like, you don't start with any additional experience. You do gain 5 XP per session, or at least in general, we suggest that you award 5 XP per game session. 5 XP will get you a birthright, a skill, or a draconic knack, and you can also get a specialty. If you wait 2 sessions, you can get transformation knacks and increase your attribute or another knack. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Draconic knacks. Oh, a new form of an existing draconic knack. So before, if you remember, I got the draconic knack of something about biting teeth, dragon knacks. Yeah, so this elemental immunity has dragon scales as its prerequisite, so this would be an additional benefit. Or if, for instance, you were doing Dragon's Fang, you can get envenomed fangs if you increase it again. So if it's based on an existing knack, that's where that XP would go. Anyway, it's now 6:02. I'm just gonna double check, see if anyone's currently doing TRPG content that is related to Onyx Path. If anyone is, we'll be rating them, which will be awesome, but it does not always seem to happen on a Monday, sadly. And oftentimes people are in other languages than English, which might not be a problem for everyone here, but often I feel bad for doing that because not everyone speaks French or Spanish or whatever languages are currently going on. In any case, thank you all for watching. This has been Beginner's Guide. I've been the Awkward GM Corbin. You can catch me on YouTube. I am currently doing a bunch of stuff about Mage the Awakening if you're interested in that. I'll just post it in here. Awkward GM on YouTube. I'm currently doing a strengths and weaknesses of being a mage in Mage the Awakening, and I have a couple of other videos in the pipeline because I'm going to be going on vacation soon. In any case, I'll see you guys next week. I don't know which game I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying to... I'd really like to do Exalted Essence, if they'll let me. I do have Demigod, Scion Demigod, I think, currently on my list. So it's going to be one of those two. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one. And now I don't have the pre-roll up.